Nityanandam. I am here at the Manasarovar area. As you can see, there's a bunch of Shiva lingas here, a nice body of water back there. I believe Sarovar means natural, big body, free flowing, not free flowing, but big body of water. There's a Nityananda Sarovar behind the Goshala, which is a body of water. There's the Vajra Sarovar over to my right over there, which is a big Shiva Linga surrounded by a big body of water. And here's the Manasarovar. So, logically, which is funny, I'll explain this in a second. Logically, I've come to the conclusion that Sarovar means water body. And today, I wanted to talk about breaking logic, about logic itself. In the Western world, specifically in the corporate world, in business, in everything like that, even in everyday life, we learn to follow logic. We learn to plan one thing after another. We learn to act accordingly to our logic in terms of those plans. What that really does is it takes you away from the space of oneness. Like, actual life is not something which can be cognized logically. Living in the sphere of oneness is not something you can do by planning ahead. Being in the space of oneness, living life how it's supposed to be lived and experienced for how it truly should feel, is something you just come into. It's a cognition that you bring yourself into. It's a space. And really what logic does is not that. Logic really, I was thinking earlier, is like a small like cheat that takes you, it diverts you really, and it makes you think that you're doing something productive. Logic itself is not productive. So a few examples to show what I mean. Right now there are some ants covering this spot that I'm sitting on. Logic would tell me either to kill all of them or to get up and record somewhere else. I decided I wanted to record here, so for time's sake, that's what I'm doing. Um, Example being that these are black ants. Even though they're ants and logic tells me I should get up, these black ants I know do not bite. Only the red ants here bite. So there's a couple on my dhoti. I'm not worrying about it. I haven't felt any pain from it. I'm not going to let it interrupt my video. In fact, I'm going to bring it into my video. It's not something logic would normally tell you to do. Another example, I do not plan any of my videos. The script, I don't have a script. I don't have anything written down. The only planning I do is I think of a location I want to take a video at. I think of a topic. I hum the Mahavakya. Mm-hmm. 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 Om Nityananda Mahasada Shivoham. I hum that 3 times, and then I just take the video. Um, Really what I find that that's doing is letting everything out that I want to express actually come out organically. Logically, I guess I could perfect a script, but I've done communication classes, I've written scripts, I've written speeches, which I've been very proud of. Even when I spend a week writing a script, going over, adding, thinking about what to say in a better way, thinking about what haven't I said that I want to say. And when it comes time to present those scripts, give a speech, at the end I always find that, man, like, I could have iterated this topic in a completely different way that would have given more insight. So logic in that way does not, I find, work. If I were to plan every single word of my video, afterwards I would always want to take second, third, fourth takes. I would always do a bunch of editing, but there's no editing in my videos at all. There's no planning. And what I find is that it makes for a completely organic experience for me and the viewer. For me, I find that actually, once I make a video, like that video is over. What I've said is said. It's done. There's no anxiety about, oh, I didn't iterate this point. Oh, I didn't do this. Another example of how breaking logic can bring you into the space of oneness and how logic is not truly productive for life is herding cows, dealing with cows. Herding cows specifically, logic tells you that if you see one cow go out of the way from the herd, you need to bring that cow back so they can be as a unit. What I found is it is much better to stand in the position that you're at, because currently you're holding the unit together as it is. One escaped. Oh well, let that one escape. Like, if you won't get it and it's of utmost importance that it comes back and it isn't coming back on its own, someone else will get it. Usually there's at least one other person with me herding. If not, then it is my responsibility, but there's only so much I can do. One person herding 40, 50 to sometimes 80 cows. And usually that cow will come back on its own. Usually 100% of the time, if I were to go to that isolated cow, 10 other cows would go in a different direction since I abandoned my station. If I stay in the position I'm in, that cow will either come back to the unit itself or someone else will guide it. Or if neither of those happens, then the cow grazes. It comes back for the second round. The second time around, it joins everyone. Point of this whole video. This whole video actually, I never planned, like I said previously, but this whole video, I've been trying to just let words come out of me without thinking about what I should say next. So, point of this video, break logic. Logic that's such a weird statement, and it's something that I understand might be very difficult for people, especially in the Western world, or pretty much everyone not on a spiritual path who hasn't already heard this, to understand. We think logically, and we are programmed to think logically. It is the only thing that we're used to. Really, I'll just say one thing for this understanding. Logic does not help you. All logic does is makes you feel like you're being productive. Logic can never give you an actual breakthrough in yourself, meaning logic can never make you feel completely satisfied. Logic will always bring you to the next task, Break logic, drop logic, and just fall into the space of oneness. Don't have any care. There's a difference between having a responsibility and saying that you're not going to micromanage everything. You can still take responsibility for a task, not micromanage, and that is breaking logic. That is you having the experience of falling into oneness and having the experience come to you yourself, rather than you trying to bring yourself in completion to the experience, because that never works. All you can do is fall into the experience and let the universe guide your actions. No matter what, you're going to finish that task in one way or another. So, with this, wrapping up, all I mean to say in this video is try for yourself. I know it's hard to cognize, hard to understand, but I think that you get the gist of it. When you're doing any sort of task, don't think too much about it. Drop it at whatever you define God as. Drop it at those feet of that God, of that concept, of that idea. Say, I'm doing this. I learned in a video to drop logic. Let me just try it for myself once. Let me see how this task will go, if I can try and glide through it as the universe guides me as beautifully as possible. That's the whole point of this video. Give a little beautiful scenery. Let you guys look here for the last few seconds. Menace Rovar. The Ardenum is so beautiful. So many things to be experienced and witnessed here. Should join, try for yourself, make your own videos, learn these things for yourself, break logic, do things that actually bring a new feeling inside of you. Logic, planning, mind is all Maya. Maya is illusion. Planning is illusion. Planning is mind. Planning is logic. Logic is Maya. None of that made sense, but it all completely made sense. Don't plan because it doesn't take you anywhere. Don't use logic because all it does is makes you feel like you're going somewhere when really you're not. Until next time, Nithyanandam. Thank you. Be blissful.